Glad to have you with us here on Seahawks Today by Chad Sports. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for stopping by as we take one final look at the Seahawks injury report prior to Sunday's matchup between your Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. The Seahawks need a win and for the Chicago Bears to beat the Green Bay Packers in order to make it into the postseason. We'll tell you everything you need to know coming up in just a moment. A reminder, for the best Seahawks coverage around, subscribe now to Seahawks Today and help us march on towards 48,000 subscribers. We're going to be live not once, but twice this weekend as we'll have our Seahawks Cardinals watch party coming up on Sunday afternoon as we'll break down the game in real time, have a few drinks on hand, and then we'll also be live again Monday night for the College Football Playoff National Championship game between your Washington Huskies and the Michigan Wolverines. Double watch party weekend. It all starts right here on Seahawks Today. Do not miss out on it. We got you covered. Subscribe now for free. Let's go over the injury report of who is out for Seattle, beginning with Mario Williams with a knee injury. He will not be able to give it a go again. Meanwhile, Abraham Lucas also out with a knee injury for the, I believe it's second or third consecutive week that he's been out for Seattle. Kenny McIntosh with a thumb injury. He will not play. And Phil Haynes will not play. Those are the four players that we know for sure that, at the very least, will not play at all. And then there's another set of guys that are questionable going into Sunday's game, which includes Jason Peters with a foot issue, Nick Bellore with a knee injury, Jarran Reed with a knee injury, and then Jordyn Brooks with an ankle injury. So all in all, heading into Sunday, we have 8 players on the injury report, 4 on the bubble that we'll see whether or not they can play. And for me, there's a couple things that stand out. What I'm looking for this Seahawks team when it comes to these injuries this weekend. Number one, how will the Seahawks offensive line hold up? Because we told you earlier in the week about Evan Brown with his issues, and now you got this Abraham Lucas deal of him not playing. Jason Peters is banged up. And the offensive line has been a problem for the Seattle Seahawks throughout the entire season. This group has never stayed healthy. They've been inconsistent. Sometimes they're great. Sometimes they're not so great. What type of performance will we get out of Seattle's offensive line? And then number 2 is the Devin Bush factor. Now that we are looking at Jordyn Brooks possibly not being able to give it a go alongside Bobby Wagner after missing last week's game, pressure's on Devin Bush. And can he ultimately get the job done? Last week, he had a lot of tackles, but that didn't necessarily tell the whole story here. What we've seen from Devin Bush in the limited time that he's played out there is that there's a lot of mistakes. There are a lot of missed tackles. And so if Jordyn Brooks is not going to be able to go, if Devin Bush gets the start, how well can Devin Bush play, and can he get the job done for this Seahawks team? I would argue with what's on the line for the Seahawks of trying to make the postseason here, that in the role that Devin Bush is about to play, this is the biggest game of Devin Bush's career. It's put up or shut up time. So let's ask you guys now, what is your concern level with Seattle's injury news, with seeing 8 players on the injury report, 4 players out? I'm pretty concerned going into Sunday. And we told you about the Cardinals injury report a couple days ago. It's not nearly as lengthy. Kyler Murray has something to prove here. Very interesting game. My concern level, I'd go about 7 or 8 personally. Give me your concern level in our pinned comment today. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You pick 2 or more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy yards, fantasy points, passing yards, receiving yards, rushing yards, all sorts of stuff you can choose from. You can mix and match different leagues, NFL, college football, NBA, and more. This week on Prize Picks, got CeeDee Lamb to have less than 99.5 receiving yards against Washington on Sunday, and Michael Pittman Jr. to have less than 74.5 receiving yards against the Houston Texans. Play along with me, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS for a $100 deposit match. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, proud partner of Seahawks Today and Chat Sports. Glad to have them on board and appreciate them sponsoring today's video. Play along with us today, prizepicks.com/CLNS. All right, the matchup here, Seattle and Arizona. And what's so fascinating when you look at these two teams here. I know that it's going to jump off the page that Arizona's 4-12, that they have not had a good year, that Seattle beat this team by 10, if you recall, several weeks ago, right, before Kyler Murray came back. And there's a couple things that come to mind of where things have changed since we last saw the Arizona Cardinals. With Kyler Murray back, if you compare the records of these two teams in that stretch, the Cardinals have a better record than what Seattle has since Kyler Murray made his return. And so when you look at that 10-point loss they also had to Arizona earlier in the season, 10-point win, rather, to Arizona, that score was not indicative of how well Arizona played and kept that interesting. That was a game that could have gone either way in the fourth quarter. So I say all this to say that this Arizona Cardinals team should not be taken lightly here, that the Seahawks will have to put their best foot forward, and this game is so crucial, so important here. And going back over that injury report, you look at Mario Edwards being out. Okay, next man up, who's going to fill the void? Luckily, Leonard Williams has played outstanding as of late, and that should alleviate some things to an extent on that front. Abraham Lucas, man, Jake Curran, watch out. What is he going to do to step into that role potentially and get the job done? Not so much about Kenny McIntosh. We haven't really seen him hardly at all this year. Phil Haynes, Anthony Bradford has really struggled in pass protection. How is he going to do? Stepping up into that place, the rookie, big game for him. And then the guys there are questionable. Jason Peters, you'd like to have him there. Nick Bellore, same thing, like to have him there. Jarran Reed, if the Seahawks potentially are without Jarran Reed and Mario Williams, then it's not just the pass rush. Remember, then you have to be concerned about stopping the run. And last week, the Seattle Seahawks gave up over 200 yards to the Pittsburgh Steelers on the ground. And then the Jordyn Brooks equation we mentioned with that situation with Devin Bush having to step up. So a lot of pressure on the Seattle Seahawks this week to get it right. Next man up mentality. Let's see if they can get the job done. What is your prediction? What is going to be the final score? Who wins? What's the final score going to be? Put it in the comments section. Let us know how you think this game plays out between Seattle and Arizona. Thanks for joining us here on Seahawks Today. Don't miss out our Seahawks Cardinals watch party Sunday afternoon live right here on Seahawks Today. Myself, Smitty, we will see you then. Go Seahawks.